Right then, folks, welcome back to another edition of Taking the Mikel. We have left you all waiting. This man to my right, John Obi Mikel, he's been in a dark room for a few days. We're going to unpack why that is in the coming minutes. Myself, Chris McCarty, back with you as well, of course. Great to be back, John. And it's been an interesting week or so, maybe a couple of weeks for you, has it not?
It's been. Yeah, we're back. And a lot happened in the past couple of weeks.
An awful lot has happened.
An awful lot, yeah.
You've had to cancel holidays. You've had to cancel that brand new Rolls Royce that you had on order. You've had to do a lot.
Yeah, it's been a very, very eventful week. Let's put it that way. A couple of weeks, a week, whatever we call it. But interesting transfer window.
That's it. And listen, we've been inundated, and rightly so, because you, my friend, on this very podcast, you've stated for months, we all know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Victor Osimhen.
Yeah.
The would he, won't he.
Started from this podcast.
It started on this podcast. We had Victor on it, didn't we? In season one of the OB1 podcast.
And that was the plan all along. That was my plan all along.
Was that the long game?
Yeah, exactly. It was a long game.
Put him in the
Get him on the
window.
podcast and then, start from there.
Start the ball rolling. Well, ultimately, John, and listen, there'll be a lot of Chelsea fans, a lot of Nigerian fans listening in and watching this podcast, wanting to know what the actual inside story, what the real story, what is the truth behind Victor Osimhen's failed move to Chelsea. So let's unpack it, John. What can you tell us? Were you involved in trying to get Victor to Stamford Bridge?
Oof, where can I start from? I mean, a lot happened. Of course, everybody, it's a no-brainer, and I think
An open secret, right?
Exactly, it's an open secret. Everybody knows that I was, involved in a deal. I was involved in trying to make sure that I get Victor Osimhen to the club. A lot happened. It was very interesting because I think I hear a lot of people saying this and saying that about Victor and how greedy he is and stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. Take a pay cut and come to Chelsea, blah, 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 stuff like that. And, I just want to categorically say it here, that I know the kid, I know the boy since from the very first day he joined the national team.
Yeah.
My relationship with him has been very, very good. And since then, we've kept in contact. We've been friends since then. Of course, I know him. I know what he's capable of. And I just want to say that is absolutely not true. Victor is not a greedy boy. He's not a greedy guy. He only wants to get what he deserves. And that's not a problem.
He wasn't asking for £500,000 a week.
No, he wasn't asking for all this bullshit for me. I know what happened. I was there. I was in the midst of everything. So I can tell everybody that is definitely not true. Victor is not a greedy boy. He just wants to play football and get what he deserves. And that's not a problem.
No.
A player knowing what he's worth and asking and demanding to be paid what he's worth. That's not a problem. And also to be able to come to a compromise between him and Chelsea to make sure that the deal get done.
Yeah.
We were very, very close. I put it that way. We were very, very close. We were. I was aware of getting this deal done, but it was just, slight issues, slight little problems that we just couldn't get over the line. And of course, the medical couldn't be done as well. Even if we get the deal done, it was too late. But I know exactly where we stopped. I know exactly where we are with the deal. And if eventually, say January or whatever, we have to pick it up again, then I know exactly where we are and where we have to start from. So yes, I was the guy right in the middle of everything. For a couple of days, I didn't sleep. On Thursday, I didn't sleep. On a Friday, I didn't sleep. Obviously, I'm here in Dubai. It's about 3-4 hours difference.
3 hours, yeah.
Exactly. So I have to wait for phone calls. I think in the middle of the night, I think on Thursday, I slept around 4 a.m. in the morning because I was waiting for phone call from this side and phone call from that side just to make sure that we try to include everything that Victor wants, and the club also have to make sure that they get the okay from the owner. Paul had to make sure. Paul Winstill was really, really amazing. I can tell you that because this guy, the sporting director, is somebody that I've spoken to now. I get to know really well now. And hearing from him, it's amazing. It's refreshing to see where the club, the owners, and the sporting director wants to take, especially Paul wants to take the club to. There's so much There's so much to be happy about. There's so much excitement. The club,
they've got a vision.
They got a vision, and it's a very, very great vision. They want to bring the good, not just bringing any player now. Of course, not just bringing any player into the football club. It's about bringing the right players, players who can improve the team, who can improve the squad. And I think Paul is on top of that. And from this transfer window now, I think we'll start to see the right players come into the football club, and that's something that is really, really nice to see.
So to be clear, John, you were, of course, you're not Victor's agent, but you're a man that he deeply respects.
Yeah.
You said it yourself there, your friends, Roberto Calenda, and we'll get to him because some speculation that Victor has since got rid of his agent. We don't know the particulars on that. But coming back to the Chelsea deal.
I told him to get rid of it.
Don't say that, Roberto. I apologise on his behalf. You're in the middle of it, John. You've got Victor calling you. And you've got Paul Winstanley, the co-sporting director at Chelsea, calling you as well. You're trying to get this deal over the line. And given the fact there is a transfer deadline, it was 11 p.m, I think, in the UK. The pressures of that. I've read, and again, I'm asking you because I don't know. I'm very much in the dark. Chelsea had a party that were in Naples. They were they were serious about getting this deal done.
Very serious about getting the deal done. I think I spoke to Paul on Wednesday or something like that, and I said, "Listen, we have to send somebody down to see Victor, and that will change the way he sees things, and then he will understand how much the club wants him to come to the club." So, and then straight away, the club sent somebody to Naples and try to speak to Victor and his agent to make sure we get the deal done. It just shows how much the club were willing to have the player, and how eager the club were willing to get Victor, and how eager Victor as well was to come to the club. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, he didn't want to come to..." No, that's not true. Victor I know he really wanted to come to the club because he still knows he has a lot to prove in Europe. He wants to come to Chelsea. He wants to help the club. He wants to come in and help the club to get back to where we should be. He knows he can score a lot of goals here in the Premier League. And what a better place to do that than his childhood club, Chelsea.
So coming back to it then, there was willingness on both sides to compromise. Victor did do that. The nonsense about stupid sums of money, a load of nonsense.
Yeah.
I thought that to be honest.
absolutely not true. That's definitely not true. I know what Victor wanted. I know what the club offered him. I know where we got to. We finally got to a compromise. Both sides had to compromise. We got to a middle. It was just some little things here and there, paperwork, medical, and few issues that we just couldn't get over the line.
Okay.
And then, we didn't have much time. The one time you want the seconds and minutes and hours to slow down a bit, it just didn't work. And no, definitely, I think both sides really, really played their part in terms of getting the deal done. And I commend Chelsea for that because I could see the ambition of where they want to take this club now. And also on Victor's side, how much he really wanted to come to the club. And, he was disappointed that it didn't happen.
Was he? I was going to ask that.
Yeah, no, he was disappointed that it didn't happen. I think I spoke to him as soon as the transfer window shut. I gave him a call and we spent about 20 minutes talking. I was just like, listen, I'm always here for you. You need to keep your head down. You need to keep working hard and keep training. I know it's not the best situation right now, what has happened, but I know you're strong. You're strong. Victor's a strong character.
That's why Chelsea, one of the reasons.
Exactly. He's a strong character. He's a bit like Didier Drogba and Diego Costa, and that's something we're missing at the club. Strikers who have that edge, who have that little bite that can intimidate defenders. And Victor definitely has that. So I said to him, listen, just keep working hard, keep your head down, and keep training and keep working hard. Enjoy your time with your family, and just make sure that when the time comes again that you're ready. And a lot has happened since then.
Yeah, well, we're going to get to that because Victor has been on the move. But I guess a question that a lot of Chelsea fans might have now, John, is, and I guess you're in a perfect position to answer this, there's no ill feeling for the club towards Victor or Victor towards the club. It's in a good place. Simply, they ran out of time. One or two issues, maybe with the contract or paperwork or medical, whatever the particulars are, you're telling us there's no issue between the football club and Victor Osimhen.
Definitely. There's no issues. I think if we have to pick this back up again, like I said, whatever it is, January or next summer, we know where we are. We know where we've stopped. And it's just a little details that needs to be finalized and the deal will be done. So for me, club is in a very happy place with Victor. Victor is in a very happy place with the club. And, I want to make sure I'm not going to rest. I want to make sure that I get him to the club, because I know that not just because he's my friend or he's my younger brother or he's Nigerian. No, he is one of the best strikers in the world right now.
Yeah, he is.
You know what I mean? He's the African best player. And I know what he can bring to the club. I know exactly. I'm sure a lot of Chelsea fans knows what Victor can bring to the club. So for me, I'm not just doing him a favor. No, I want to make sure that he comes to the club and help the club. And we all know that he will do that. So for me, it's, I'm very happy with what has happened. And I was very happy to be in the middle of that. And I'm not going to rest until this happened, because I know it's going to be a great partnership between Victor and Chelsea. And I know that he's going to help us get back to where we should be.
So the Chelsea fans are loving you even more now. The Galatasaray fans are hating you right now, John.
But the truth needs to be told, because a lot of people, Victor has come under a lot of criticism about this, because people don't know the inside out of what happened. You need to know the inside out of what happened before you criticize the kid. Victor really, really wanted to come to the club, and he had to compromise a lot to come to the middle, because we did reach an agreement in terms of the salary, in terms of what he wants. It was just few minor details here and there that we just couldn't get over the line. So for me, hearing all that nonsense about Victor being greedy, a lot of people talking down about him. No, I think it's time, especially Nigerians, it's time that we support him. It's time that people around him, friends, and Nigerian fans, whoever, get behind him and support him, because that's what he needs. He needs that. And I've told him I will always be there for him. I will continue to make sure that I speak to him, know what he's doing, his progress, and things like that. And like I said, if we have to pick it back up again, if there is interest come January, Chelsea still want Victor, Victor still wants to come to Chelsea, we know exactly where we are. And it's a matter of, it's not going to be difficult. We're just going to get the deal done.
So Chelsea's loss for now, I'm going to position it like
for
that,
now,
John.
Yeah.
For now, is Galatasaray's gain, I guess, because it's a bit of a kind of double-edged story, this, in a lot of ways. There's a couple of chapters to it, because we were just getting over the news that he was not coming to Chelsea.
Yeah.
We had heard that he was being jettisoned by Antonio Conte, that he was not training with the Napoli first team, that he was going to have to train on his own. He was going to be essentially persona non grata.
Yeah, by the way, also, I need to say something about that. I think the way the club has treated the player, I don't know the inside out of that story, what's happened with Napoli and the player, but a player who's probably single-handedly, him and the other
you're stitching me up here.
Gravnaskai,
Varashekili. I think
that name.
Just call him the Georgian Maradona. I think we can all
the
agree
Georgian
on.
Maradona, exactly. I think
Those
they
two.
both single-handedly won Napoli the trophy, the Scudetto, in such a
Incredible fashion.
long time they haven't won it. So,
89,
exactly.
90.
I think both of them played a massive, and for the club to treat him the way they've treated him. Again, I'm not judging because I don't know the ins and outs of what happened
But you're
between him and the
disappointed.
club. But I'm disappointed the way he's been treated. The club pushing him aside, training with the bomb squad they call them. Taking his jersey number away from him. I don't think that's the way to treat somebody who's given so much to the club. And for me, I'm kind of disappointed with that. But so for me, that's what I need to say about Napoli.
So he signed on another year. I believe he's extended his contract at Napoli in order to bring his release clause down. That's what I'm reading, John. You probably have more information on that than me. He's now moved to Galatasaray.
Yeah.
It's been reported they haven't paid a loan fee, but they're picking up the majority of his salary. I go back to it. Chelsea's loss for now is Galatasaray's gain.
Yeah.
They have just got, as you said a few moments ago, one of the world's best strikers. This is an incredible move for Galatasaray.
It's incredible for Galatasaray. I don't know how they pull this out, but I think it's
But it comes back to your point, John, because you've said Victor just loves playing football.
Exactly.
This nonsense that he's greedy. He wants to play football. And hey, listen, one thing that we haven't discussed: if he was really greedy, he would have taken the money in Saudi Arabia.
Exactly.
Would he
Exactly.
not?
Yeah, he would have taken the money in Saudi Arabia, but I know the kid. I know how much he loves to play football, and he knows that he still has many years to play in Europe. He has a lot still to offer in Europe, and the move about Saudi can still wait. And that's the conversation I had with him as well, and he kind of like understood that. That there's time for that. He's still young. He still can come to Europe. He still has a lot to offer in Europe. But I think Galatasaray, they've done an amazing.
Amazing.
Amazing. I don't know how they pulled that one off, but yeah. But no, Victor wants to play football, and now he's shown everybody that he still wants to continue playing football, at the highest level, and that's why he's gone to Galatasaray to score goals, to help the club, and funny enough, he's going to be in direct competition with with a special one. So I think Galatasaray fans will be happy with the deal.
Of course.
Victor is a top striker. He will score goals there. He will help them to win the trophy. So. It's a great move for them and for Victor as well to continue to play football, to continue to play in the highest level and keep the sharpness going and keep his training going. And again, like I said, January will be a big transfer window. And we'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll see what. Yeah, watch the space. There's so much that I don't want to say. Because I don't want to say it until we get the deal done. Yeah. If it happens, it happens. I'm not sitting here and saying 100% it's definitely going to happen. But if it does happen, then I can obviously say a lot more. But right now, there's so much more I can't say. But I know exactly where we are and what is going to happen.
So to be clear, because I know that Jose Mourinho either watches us, listens to us, everything gets back to that man. I'm just worried about you here, John. So can you categorically tell us you played no part in sending Victor to Galatasaray?
No, definitely did not.
Good. So Jose, it's nothing to do with us.
No, I have nothing to do with Galatasaray, no.
Because you're right. Jose's had a great start to life at Fenerbahce. 3 wins and a draw.
Yeah, exactly.
His opening 4, but Victor Osimhen makes a big difference.
Yeah, Victor Osimhen going to Galatasaray makes a big difference, and I'm sure Jose is not going to be happy with that because he is somebody who's going to score goals in Turkey. He will do exactly what he knows how to do best, which is score goals. And so for me, Jose is not going to be happy. But for Victor, I'm really pleased with the move. He has to play football, which is something I told him. I think once the transfer window shot, I said,
focus,
Victor, focus. You have to play football. I don't want you to sit down in Naples and just enjoy and just sit without doing anything. Just train. I want you to play football. That's my message. You have to play football. I don't care what you do, but you have to play football. And he understood that. And that's why, obviously, him and his team, they got the move to Galatasaray. And I'm really pleased with that. I'm really happy. So I hope he continues to do what he knows how to do best, which is scoring goals. And then, and as long as he does that, there's still a chance of him going to Chelsea.
So we never like to see anyone lose their job, John. There is some speculation that Victor and his agent have parted ways. And if you did tell him to do that, then is that you looking for a new job, John? Are we losing you on this podcast?
I'm kidding. I have nothing to do with that.
I know you are.
But no, there was a few conversations I had about his agent. And but listen, at the end of the day, Victor was best for him. I want what's best for Victor. And if that's the decision he made, if that's true, fair play to him. I'm sure maybe they ended on a good note. I don't know what's happened, but if that's what has happened, I think Victor always wants what's best for him. And that's something I like about him. People talk about arrogancy and stuff like that. No, knowing your worth,
absolutely,
what you deserve. It's not being arrogant. You're not being arrogant. It's just you knowing what you deserve and not going crazy about it. If you know exactly what you deserve.
It's like any job, any walk of life.
Exactly.
You're right.
So
John.
that's, for me, that's not arrogant. That's not being arrogant. And some people might look at it that way. For me, no. Because you know your worth. And you know when you come in there, you will deliver.
Yeah.
And he knows he will do that. So for me, people just need to stop saying that about the boy. He's a lovely boy. He's very funny. When you speak to him, when you spend time with him, very funny lad, very loud, will bring a lot of, joy, happiness around the place. And so that's who Victor is, very humble as well when you speak to him. Very, very humble. Every time I speak to him, very humble and respects people. Like I said, respect is reciprocal. I respect you, you respect me.
Absolutely.
So I think there's few things that has happened as well with the Nigerian coach where he blew out, where he had
he was angry, wasn't he?
He was
A few months
angry.
back.
Yeah, that's emotions, and he just felt that
it wasn't fair.
It wasn't fair because the manager didn't protect him because he said he had a conversation with the manager. Everything was recorded, and then the manager just came out and threw him under the bus, and he was really pissed off, and he came out to defend himself. The way he did it, maybe not the greatest way, maybe not the best way to do it, but he has the right to come out and defend himself. So I have nothing against Victor. I have nothing against that. So for me, knowing what you're worth is not knowing what you're worth.
Completely
is
agree.
Not being arrogant.
Completely agree, and I do respect him as well for what my opinion's worth. I respect the fact he isn't kicking his heels in Naples. He's gone to Turkey. He wants to play football.
Yeah.
I can respect that. He's obviously going to be paid well for it, but with the greatest respects to the Turkish league, it's a bit of a step down from the top 5 leagues in Europe. But he's willing to do it in order to play football, and I can respect that.
Exactly, and to keep that opportunity as well,
of course.
that window open, that if he goes there and does what he knows how to do, which is scoring goals and playing well and helping the team, the window is still going to be open for him to come back to one of the big top 5 leagues in the world, which for me, I hope is going to be Chelsea.
Okay, watch this space on that. So that is the inside story on Victor Osimhen. Thank you, John, for being very honest and candid.
Yeah, I still need to catch up on my 2-day sleep that I missed. I'm trying to get that deal done, you know what I mean?
And try and get at least a sliver of that Galatasaray commission as well.
Because I was looking at my phone. My phone was just buzzing here and there. I was in bed trying to sleep. No, I wasn't trying to sleep, but I was just waiting for the phone calls. And obviously the time difference, and I was just dozing off. I was like this. And then my phone rings. I'm like, where is it? I need to pick up the phone, whether it's Victor calling or it's Paul calling. I think everybody, I will give both parties a massive credit. They tried, absolutely tried. Victor had to compromise a lot. The club had to compromise a lot. And we eventually came to in the middle. The bulk of the whole deal was absolutely done. It was just minor issues that we just couldn't get over the line. But yeah.
Okay, it was a busy day on that Friday for Chelsea, because whilst Victor did not come through the door, one man did. I know we spoke about it on our previous take in the Mikel. Jadon Sancho in. Yeah. I've got to say, on paper, Chelsea look as if they've got a great deal. I know, listen, a lot of Man United fans won't agree with this. He was a bit of a busted flush at United. Many mitigating circumstances, I'm sure, for that. But you've essentially got a 24-year-old on loan for the rest of the season. And if he does well, it doesn't matter if he does well or not. There's an obligation to buy for about between 20 and 25 million quid. I think Enzo Maresca might just get the best out of Jadon Sancho. Yeah. It looks like a blinding deal. It does. It looks like a really great deal. I think we talked about him, on the pod before the deal happened. I said how amazing it will be if we can get him into the club, because for me and for many other people, football fans, we're thinking how and why hasn't it happened for him at Manchester United? Because every time we see him go back to Dortmund, he's a totally different player. But then he comes back to United, and it just, for some reason, doesn't seem to work out for him. Now, is it something to do with the manager? Has he lost the appetite, the respect, the willingness to play for the manager? Or is that something else? Or is it just the Premier League? He can't perform. He just doesn't seem to perform in the Premier League. But there's so much that we need to figure out with Jadon Sancho. But if we can get him playing, he's a fantastic player. There's a player there. If we can get him to start firing and play the way he plays whenever he goes back to Dortmund, I think we got a great player. But I think Maresca needs to find a way to get the best out of Jadon. If we can do that, we've got a player in our hands, because, when he plays and he plays well, he's a fantastic player to watch. So we have to make sure I'm sure Maresca is probably training with him now during the international break, trying to get him up to speed. And if we can do that and try to get him to that level, I think we've got a great player on our side. But it's going to be interesting to see as well, because I think Madueke has been playing really, really well. Of course, we brought in Pedro Neto as well into the club. We paid a lot of money for him. If he's fit as well, he's a great, great player. And of course, Modric, Nkunku. We have all these players that can play, on both sides. So for me, it would be interesting to see how Jadon fits in and how much willingness he's willing to make sure that he gets to that level. Because if he doesn't perform in training, he's not going to play. No. Maresca has made that clear with every player. If you don't perform in training,
you don't stand the chance of playing. So he has to make sure he put in the work in training, and then he will be able to get the chance to play in games. So for me, it will be a fantastic signing for us, but we have to get him to start firing.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That was Jadon coming in. I've got a funny feeling it's going to work out well.
I hope so. I hope so because for the lad, I think he's
a player.
He's a player.
It's just there.
Exactly. Every time I look at him, every time I see him.
When I say there, that's the mind.
Yeah, exactly. And he seems like a humble kid as well. I don't know him that well, but he seems to me like a humble kid. He seems like somebody, because he keeps trying to go places to play football, but it's just not at United. It's not happening at United.
Many players, to be fair, you could argue that it's what's wrong at United. There's a lot of wide players. Rashford's a shadow of himself.
Yeah, exactly.
Anthony, he ever the standard? But he's an absolute shadow of himself. So it's not just Jadon Sancho in the wide areas who have struggled at Man United in recent years. So there maybe is a bit of truth to that. But Jadon's in the door. I'm like you, John. There is a player there. It's up to Enzo to get the best out of him. A few players did leave. Trevor Chalobah off to Palace. We saw Armando Broja off to Everton. A couple that I want to get your quick thoughts on.
That's a big one, isn't it? Trevor Chalobah. I mean, I can't stop talking about him.
Yeah, you're gutted by it. But he's gone. Conor Gallagher gone.
Yeah, and then we didn't seem to bring in another centre-back, another top centre-back, which I thought we would have done.
Yeah.
Bring in somebody else to help, Levi Colwill and Fofana. I think they've started the season well, but they need another person, another centre-back, top centre-back who's going to come in and help them. You know what I mean? So that's somewhere that I thought we could have strengthened, but no, we haven't done that. So I mean, hopefully in
January next summer,
January,
there's time. But two players did leave the club, and I want to get your thoughts on Romelu Lukaku off to Napoli.
Yeah, I think that has to happen. He's been at the club.
Scored.
Exactly. He's been at the club for a while. He hasn't had the kick. He hasn't played for some reason. The managers that's coming never trusted him. I don't know for some reason, but I like Lukaku though. I think when he plays, yes, he did come back. He had the first spell at the club. It didn't work out. He came back at the club, started the season well when he came back, but then, things just, went
falling out with Tuchel.
Exactly. And then for some reason, the whole thing just collapsed. And
it was right for both parties.
It was right for both parties to go their way. I think Romelu has to play football. And he knows that his time at Chelsea is done. He had to move, and the club has to get rid of him. And I'm happy that the club and the player were able to get, come to an agreement whereby the player had to move and the club had to get some money from him as well.
And if anyone's going to get the best out of Romelu Lukaku,
it is Antonio Conte. Definitely. They both love each other. They both love working with each other. For some reason, Antonio Conte is the only manager in this world to get the best out of Romelu Lukaku. But it just works out well for both of them.
Yeah.
And, he's gone out there now, first game, banging a goal, got them to win a game. So it just happens with him and Antonio Conte. So I wish him all the best. I'm sure all Chelsea fans wish Romelu Lukaku the best. And, we've got some money back, from him. And which is amazing. Both parties are happy. So Romelu Lukaku is back playing football, and I'm really happy for him.
Right, it's all been a bit too positive on this transfer front. I'm going to throw a little spice into the mix. I think the Raheem Sterling deal might blow up in Chelsea's face a little bit because I think, John, it's a great deal for Arsenal because I'm backing Mikel Arteta to get the best out of Raheem Sterling again. Do you agree, or are you not?
I think it's a great deal for Arsenal. I think, you know what I think? I think it's a great deal for Arsenal. Is it a big miss for us? Probably not, because I think we have the likes of Madueke and now Neto. We brought in good players in that positions as well. And I think as well, Raheem didn't end the last season well. And, there was just, and obviously the manager didn't fancy him at all. The manager came out and made it publicly clear, I don't like him. He's not my type. He's not my type of player. So when a manager comes out and say that, the writing is on the wall, you have to go. And he's decided, okay, I need to go and play football. And for me, I think it is a great signing for Arsenal if they can get him to start playing well again. Obviously, he's gone back with Mikel Arteta that he knows really well at City. They worked together at City. And so I'm sure Mikel Arteta knows how to get the best out of him. And it's very interesting as well. I think the Arsenal fans will accept him.
Yeah.
You know why? Because of Kai Havertz. A lot of Arsenal fans really doubted the move of Kai Havertz. But who is the number one player on the sheet right now? Kai Havertz, I think, for me, in that Arsenal team. Because he's scoring goals, he's creating chances, he's playing well. The Arsenal fans absolutely love him right now. Obviously, he didn't start the season well. He didn't start his Arsenal career well, but now he's playing well. He's he's linking things, and it just comes. It comes from the trust and belief that Mikel Arteta gave him. A lot of the Arsenal fans were complaining, "Oh, get rid of him, get him out of the club, put him on the bench." No, but he trusted him. He kept on playing him, and now his performances is so much better. So I think. That is why I think Arsenal fans will trust Mikel Arteta's judgment on bringing Raheem Sterling back into the club, because he's coming from Chelsea, same like Kai Havertz,
and
wasn't wanted as well, Jorginho as well. So for me, I think if Mikel Arteta can get the best out of him, there is a player there.
Yeah, and I'll go a step further. Gabriel Martinelli's been a bit iffy at the start of this campaign.
Exactly. I mean, if you can get Bukayo Saka on the other side and Sterling on the side, the pace that this Arsenal team will have on both sides will be absolutely frightening. So for me, if they can get him back to his best level, and I think of course, if anyone can do that, I think Mikel Arteta knows him really well, which he said. He's come out publicly and said, "I know him. I have a good relationship with him." So if he can be able to get him to start playing well and get him to that level again, I think Arsenal have got a really, really good player in their hands.
Yeah, it's a similar structure to what City do. I'm with you, John. I think Raheem Sterling, he's not a busted flush.
And he's only 29. Let's not forget that.
29.
He's not old. He's only 29. He has still a lot to offer. 29 years old. Raheem Sterling, moving to Arsenal. It comes down again, back in the day, clubs in London, I know rivalry clubs never sell a good player to the other team, but now it happens. You know what I mean? I remember back then, Chelsea will never sell a player to Arsenal. Arsenal will never sell a player to Chelsea. I think probably Sol Campbell was the one that happened from Tottenham to Arsenal.
The only one I can think of from Chelsea is the Ashley Cole and Gallas.
Yeah,
Ashley Cole fell out with the club, and there was the deal that was done. But I can't think of many direct deals.
Yeah, but for a player of that quality as well, 29 years old, I think for me, Arsenal, if Mikel Arteta can get him, Raheem Sterling, back to where he should be, back at his best. Because when he plays well, and he's still one player that really troubles City. Every time he plays against City, he scores. So, is that why he brought him, thinking, when he plays, when Arsenal play against City, he might get a goal?
When he's at it, when he's on song, Raheem Sterling, he is a tough man to stop.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm with you on that, John. So Sterling to Arsenal, a couple of boys leaving Chelsea, of course, the big one though, Victor Osimhen, not a Chelsea player yet.
Yeah.
Watch this space.
Yet. I think I think that's
we're going to perpetuate this.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it happens
one day.
Because it will be absolutely fantastic for us. Again, he will come in, he will help Nicholas Jackson, who, who's doing well, it's called back to back. Have you two
spoken yet?
No. I just saw, he scored again over the weekend, and he gave me he gave me that. I can see that, Nicholas, and I just hope you keep scoring and keep helping the club. As much as, we just want to win games. I think we're all on the same boat. We want to make sure we see the club do well. We want to make sure we see the club succeed, get back to top 4, get back to competing, to win the Premier League, back in the Champions League. And that's where we want to be. If Nicholas keeps scoring goals, like I said, I will be the happiest guy in the world. But sometimes players should be able to take constructive criticism. You know what I mean? Especially if you're a young player, you should be able to take that. Yeah. I think I remember when I was playing, I was criticized so many times. I had to put my head down, keep working hard, because at the end of the day, everybody is entitled to their opinion. You know what I mean? People, media, it's your right to criticize you. Fans, exactly. But you can't come out and, for me, it wasn't a direct, it was just a constructive criticism, because, I've always said, there is a player there, Of
course, no doubt.
Just the only problem the only little issue, is just the finishing, and now he's got back to back. I'm sure that's going to give him a lot more confidence, and when he plays now, he will play with more confidence, because as a striker, there's no better feelings when you start scoring goals, because it gives you a lot of confidence. And if he can give Nicholas that confidence of going out and knowing that he's going to score goals, and for me, putting himself in the right places, getting in the position of scoring goals, it will come eventually. And I think Victor will only come in, any other top striker comes in, it's only just to help him. There's a lot of games to play. You can't play all of them. So for me, I think, you know, a striker coming in will only help Nicholas. So for me, I'm happy that he scored back-to-back and he's doing well now. And I think he's got a new contract or something like that to be signed. So, I mean, he well-deserved. So I'll keep supporting him. You know, he's a Chelsea player and we'll keep supporting our players.
I'm loving the fact there's new beef has given Nicholas a new celebration as well. You can take a little bit of credit for that as well, John. Right, conscious of time, taking the Mikel, done and dusted. That is the inside track then on the transfer that wasn't in the end, Victor Osimhen to Chelsea. A couple of things to mark your cards with. You currently have a big interview, the Obi-Wan podcast made possible by bet winner Richard Keys and Andy Gray. That is live now. You can check it out on all your podcast platforms. It's also available on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's good value.
Yeah, I love the part where, you know, Richard had a dig on Carragher. I mean, it's not a dig, it's, you know, it's the truth, isn't it? Like, you know, you can't go around spitting on teenagers on the street and, you know, you're a role model. You know, when something like that happens, you're a role model to those parents, to those kids, to those teenagers. You can't come out and spit on them. So for me, I think it's, you know,
that's in there, by the way, as rightly John says. Carragher, Jamie gets a mention. An awful lot gets a mention pertaining to Sky, their exit some 13 years ago. Their thoughts on Man United, their thoughts on City. Yes, Richard and Andy, good value. Check that out. Mark your cards for next week as well. Another big episode out with Gary Cahill.
Yes.
Former teammate of yours.
Yeah.
Former Chelsea captain, not your captain, but a former Chelsea captain.
The man with the least body fat in the Premier League, I call him.
I'm looking forward to that. So that's next week as well. So you know what to do. If you haven't subscribed to us, please do that. The Obi-Wan podcast. You can do that on your podcast platforms. You can do that on our YouTube channel as well. Do give us a favourable rating as well, just so that I can stay in a job more than anything else. But it's always great to have your company as well. John, you're golden, so you are. Thank you for giving us the inside track.
Yeah, I'm going to make sure I get my agency license pretty soon.
So you should as well. And if that is the case, this podcast might be ending very soon. John Obi Mikel, top man. See you later.